And you notice the trees start to thin out a little bit as you're riding. I want to say you need to make a perception check. In the distance, you see what seems to be a large sword, about 2 or 3 stories high, stuck at an angle in the ground. Everyone roll a history check.
Excuse me, how big is this sword?
2 or 3 stories high.
Stories?
Yes. Okay. Nagrax in particular is very familiar with this. Actually, I just need to get a couple of something. Hold on with me for a second.
It's a giant sword. Seems to be I think an anime character may have left this.
What's anime?
Okie that sword is a leftover from a battle from around 3 to 4 centuries ago, when the gods sent avatars of themselves to the planet, well, basically to the mortal realm, to fight against the great evil. That sword is where the god's avatar of a Tempest fell, and the sword is the only thing that remains of him. Nagrax, you know there's a shrine there to the god, which is generally used to pray to many different gods, in particular Tempest.
Okay. Nagrax, upon... so he'll relay that information, and he'll also say, I would like to make a stop here, if you wouldn't mind. I would like to pay homage to this god. The sacrifice was great, and I feel it only right to honour their memory.
Yes, of course.
As you will.
Okay, Nagrax will kind of stop near the shrine and he'll pray.
Okay, when you approach the shrine, there are a series of different shrines dotted around. Where the sword is embedded in the ground, there is like a collection of stones like Stonehenge surrounding it. Away from that, there are several other circular configurations like that, and within each of the arches, there is a statue to a different god. There are several different people who are also there praying. They seem to be travellers of different types. Some might be merchants, some might be adventurers, all praying for basically good luck from their gods.
Okay. First thing I'd like to see, upon seeing that there's shrines to several gods here, I would like to see if I can find a shrine to that god I encountered at the guild hall.
That we know nothing about.
Yeah, I haven't mentioned that yet.
Make an investigation with advantage. Okay, with a 13, I'm going to say that you do manage to find a shrine to her.
Okay.
And you also, beside her, see a shrine to the god of peace.
Okay. I will approach the shrine of that goddess.
Okay, then. As you approach what's everyone else doing whilst he approaches the shrine?
I'm just watching what Nagrax is doing.
Okay.
I'll just sort of just wander around, just a bit curious. I'll see the god of peace, and I'll sort of elbow Nagrax like, if they had their way, I'd be out of a job.
We all would.
I'll just wander off.
Okay. Let's say that. Do you wander towards the sword, or to the fields, or?
Yeah, I'll have a look. I'll just have I'll be in awe at the size of the sword.
As you look up at the sword, you can see that the sword is actually quite a bit bigger than it seems. It seems that some of it is buried under the ground. Where the hilt is, there is a kind of glowing red energy that pulses down the center of the blade and into the earth. As you watch it, you can assume that the avatar that held the sword must have been 5 or 6 stories tall.
One can only imagine the battle, the scope of the thing that went on with this.
Okay, now going to Nagrax. Nagrax, as you approach the statue, you notice it doesn't really look as well cared for as a lot of the other ones. But as you look at it, you can kind of sense something from it faintly. The feeling is familiar.
Mm-hmm. I will approach and touch the statue.
As you touch the statue, you can feel a similar sensation to what you felt last time, but it's not quite the same.
Right. When you say not quite the same, does this feel like a different entity?
No. It feels like it's just a bit too distant.
Nagrax kind of in his... He won't say this out loud, he'll kind of assume that there might be some degree of telepathy. He'll just say, if you can hear me, please, let me know what you were trying to ask me back at the guild. I want to help you, but I need to know more.
You see a brief flash of an image, and you see her face just for a second, and her lips speak a word, identify, and then it's completely gone, and you notice that the energy coming from the statue is weaker.
As she says that, I kind of remembered the fact that she gave me that spell as an ability, and I do cast it on the statue.
Okay, as you cast it on the statue, you suddenly feel a link with her form, and you can see her in front of you.
Okay.
I'm assuming I cannot.
No. To you, all you've seen is he's reached out his hand, and he's cast a spell on the statue. You can sense
Okay.
the spell that's been cast.
Okay.
Okay.
You found another one of my statues. I'm sorry. It seems I've been forgotten. The statues, they used to be potent with radiant energy, but without prayers, that slowly died away. A lot of my statues only have a limited amount of energy left in them. We can only talk for so long.
What do you need me to do to help you?
I need you to free me. I'm
And-
trapped. I've been trapped here for centuries.
How may I free you?
You see her think for a second. I only know of one way to reconnect to this particular type of plane. You see a brief image flash through your mind. You see 3 black spires. Not like the spires of the ones that you enter to hunt monsters. These are just like spires to a building. You see a gate, ornate, with emerald carvings around it. And you see inside there are a series of doors through a dungeon, and her vision leads you to a particular one at the end of a corridor. When this door opens, beyond it is a seal. You see briefly the image of what seems to be a portal leading to another place, and then it fades back to the seal.
With the seal, do I recognize it?
Roll religion. Actually, no, roll arcana instead. It seems to be some kind of a binding seal.
So it's just a binding seal.
Yes.
Okay, so as the vision ends, Nagrax will ask, where is this?
You notice that when you return to see her, her image has become faded. She's starting to disappear.
No, wait, please, tell me where this is.
Northwest. To the... She fades. When you spoke the last bit, you spoke it out loud, whereas previously you hadn't actually been speaking out loud.
Yeah, because there's no link.
Mm-hmm.
Nagrax doesn't really sort of pay any mind to this, he just kind of like grunts in frustration that he couldn't quite get all the information he wanted.
Flint did, however, hear the last bit. You heard him shout, "No, wait."
Are you okay then, Hargrax?
Yes, Flint, I apologize. That was a rather strange experience. I'll talk to you about it later if that's okay.
Yeah, sure.
Sort of as Nago says that, Did you say that was like a shrine to like a god of peace next to that?
Yes.
Which god of peace is this? Is this the same one that the cult of Eldeath worships?
Correct.
It is.
The statue is of a woman in full plate armor. She is kneeling. Her left hand is holding a mace that looks like a large stone mallet, with another one set by her, one of her feet, with her other hand outstretched, palm open, with a smile on her face.
Seeing these two statues side by side, Doom, is there anything that stirs in my memory to tell me if these two gods are related? Or like have... Like, I mean, I know...
Religion with advantage.
Yeah.
You don't really know of any connection between the gods.
Nagrax kind of does think that, even though he can't think of a connection right now, that there might be a reason that these two gods are next to each other, and kind of bears in mind for later. With that, he will just go around praying to the other shrines, not really taking any special interest in the others, just paying his respects.
Okay.
Do I see a statue to Azuf?
Say again, sorry.
Do I see a statue to Azuf?
From which table is that?
I'm just looking at the basic rules in D&D Beyond.
Do you know which god that is?
God of Wizards.
I see him there. Right.
The fan point.
Yes, you will see that statue if you look around.
You can like go to the statue and just look. I don't know, kind of angry.
Now you look at the statue. I'll say that the pose for the statue seems to be of an old man, a long beard, holding a staff, and in another hand holding its palm up, seems to be clutching what would be fire, with a frown across his face.
Yeah, I'd be frowning too.
Do you do anything?
No.
Okay.
I'm just off in the back.
Other than
I can't believe how large this sword is. Ridiculous.
I best go over and make sure Simeon keeps himself out of trouble.
Doom, can you just repeat what the name of this landmark is?
I didn't actually say the name of the landmark. Bear me a second, I gotta find my note.
I mean, I could ask an NPC if that's easier.
Wrong notes. There it is. It's gonna be in this document somewhere. Bear me a second, I forgot to actually bolden the name. It is called the Shrine of Yardren, which is the name of the sword. You'll know, based on your roll.
Yeah. So you'll bear this in mind. So, as Nagrax finishes praying, are there still anybody about?
There are a couple of traders just kind of meandering before carrying on their long journeys.
Are there any other men of faith here, or are they just kind of passers-by?
They just seem to be passers-by.
It's passers-by. Okay. In that case, Nagrax will just make his way back to the car. Still quite frustrated with himself.
Finian will have noticed the way that you stared at that statue. When you come back, while she's still to one side, he'll stand beside you. Are you okay? What's wrong?
Yes, Finian,
He's speaking to Flint.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were talking to me.
No.
Oh, my apologies, I thought you noticed that I was staring at that statue, so he was talking to me. Sorry, apologies.
No, nothing. It just used to be the god of my family. It's a painful memory. It's not something I'd wish to talk about.
Oh, well, if you need to talk, I'm here, okay?
Thank you. Who knows, maybe after a few drinks, my tongue will be loose.
As long as it's not your stomach.
I think we have to worry about Nargax for that one.
Okay. Everyone goes and stands by Simeon, then I assume, and I'll look with the sword.
That's one big sword.
It's like it's getting bigger the more I look at it.
Have you tried picking it up?
I do not think I could wield such a blade.
I'd have thought you've at least tried.
Can you imagine what did?
Yes. Just imagine the carnage on the battle. It's to be the sight for it to behold.
All the stuff Simeon noticed before, do we notice it as well?
All of which stuff?
Like you said, there was energy pulsing around it and into the ground.
Yes, you will be able to outright see that. Just every maybe 20 or so seconds, there seems to be a bolt of energy that will pulse down the sword's length.
Can I touch the sword?
Go ahead, touch the sword.
Just place my palm on it.
When the energy pulse goes down the sword, you sense a warmth pass by you. Then it disappears into the earth. And make a will save.
Uh-oh. Wisdom.
Yes, sorry. I keep saying will.
Doom's playing Pathfinder over here.
You see just a brief flicker of an image briefly. And you see in the distance where one of the mountains was, it seems to be a lot more whole. And when you come back to here and now, you notice part of it's completely missing from what you just saw.
Wow. Amazing.
What is?
I'll just be like looking at the sword in awe, and I'll just like grab his head and turn it towards the mountain behind us, or wherever the mountain was.
I say it's like in front of you.
Oh, in front. I'll just like slightly turn his head so he's looking at the mountain then.
Mm-hmm.
This did that.
How could a sword do that?
With great power, I imagine.
Finian will speak up. We should probably get moving before it gets any later.
Yes,
Today.
lad. You're right. You're right. Come, let's go.
Alrighty then.
Nargax, are you coming?
Yes, we should get going.
Nargash, roll perception. As you're walking away, you notice that the boar had been sitting in front of a statue to basically what was an animal god, with its head bowed. As you start to move, it stands up and follows you.
Yeah. I just kind of I'll just crack a light smile and I just let the boar sort of match my pace as we go back to the wagon.
Cool.
Okie dokie. You guys return to the wagon. I assume you'll get on your way.
Indeed.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yep.
Keep traveling, and as the day starts to stretch on, the sun starts to crawl down the sky. And it's starting to go dark.
It's taking much longer to get home this time round.
As I see it's going dark, I do, because we've stopped a couple of times, I get the horses to try and pick up the pace a little bit.
As you do that, you notice that they are getting a bit laboured.
Okay, so I don't push them too hard if I see that they're becoming noticeably fatigued.
Okay. As you carry on, I'd say you manage to get a few more hours, and the sun is on the horizon.
So I'm guessing we're still out in the middle of nowhere and it's dark now.
Correct.
Okay. Is there like a tree that we could stop near? Or
It's
the Drake
going through
it's in-
forests and stuff. There is more than one tree to stop near.
Well, it's because you mentioned like the trees were thinning earlier, so I didn't know what our current surroundings were like.
Fair enough. Yeah, you see, it is generally thinner than it was. It's not heavily wooded like you had previously been passing through. There are trees here and there. There's lots of open fields.
Yeah.
You see, the land is a little bit marshy around you.
It's a little bit marshy.
Yeah, but you can see dry patches.
Yeah, I think seeing that the horses are tired and it's sort of getting later, we'll just say to the party. It would seem that our diversion has caused us to be a bit delayed on our journey. I'm afraid we'll probably have to stop here for the night.
Yes, you don't want to be driving a cart through the night time. You hit a pothole, lose a wheel spoke. It's bad time.
Yeah.
Bad time all round.
With that, I'll get the horses to pull over.
Okay then, you pull the horses over and you find a place to set up.
Yeah.
I'd say you find one easily enough, and you set up a little camp. I'd say you'll have to eat, so...
We have the sandwiches still, don't we?
You do, yes. Knock off your sandwiches.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's why I asked for.
We got them.
Is there anything you guys want to do, or do you simply skip through the night and do your watches?
I think Nagrax would like to talk to Flint at some point. Whether he wants to talk to him tonight or tomorrow is up to him.
Bless you.
Bless you. Oh, sorry, I didn't, as I said, I didn't know if Flynn wanted to speak this evening or whether he wanted to skip to the next day.
I have no intention of speaking to anyone, so I'd want to skip to next day.
Okay, in that case, Nagrax will just keep it to himself and he'll just take first or second watch.
I'll take first.
Okay then, and then Finian will finish off as normal. I'm going to say you guys just generally have a peaceful night. I won't even go through the watches or anything this time. It doesn't really rain at all. There's a light spattering at one point, but it quickly passes and you guys continue to settle and sleep and get a full rest. As the morning dawns, it's a little bit chilly and it looks like it might rain again. But currently it is mostly dry. Do you guys simply set out and go to continue your quest home?
We will, yes.
Okay then.
Although Nagrax would like to address the party when he's kind of travelling next.
Okay, so you guys are now travelling. Your bar has gone, by the way.
Yeah, I assume so based on what you said earlier. I kind of like looked to where I would have seen the bar before going to sleep and just kind of wonder where it went. And would I actually know about like it disappearing at dawn?
I said that Finian saw it disappear, and he told you.
Okay, fair enough. So I won't question any further.
I'd like to check my bag. Can I actually check the bag to see if there's anything in it instead of pulling one
As
out?
you reach inside, you can feel there's some fuzz in there.
Looks like the fuzzy balls are back as well.
You can only feel one.
Oh, I can only feel one though, so who knows? I'll save this for combat in case we need a helpful ally.
Okay. So with that we set out.
Indeed.
Okay. So as we're travelling home, they'll be kind of be quiet at first, but then Nagrax will kind of just say quite abruptly, I think I owe you all an apology.
Well, what have you done?
Something has been bothering me for the last few days, but I've not really seen an opportune moment to broach it with you all. It's regarding what happened at the shrine, Flint.
Oh,
When you were the morning after I got rather drunk and you were training with Reginald, I You may have noticed that I was absent for a short period. I noticed that a sound coming from the back of the guild hall. Are you familiar with the statue back there?
I am not. Can't say it's an area I've ventured to.
I assumed you were just throwing up some more. I didn't notice your absence.
No. I could hear sounds coming from over there, and, well, I didn't want to mention this because, frankly, I don't think that many would really understand this, but it spoke to me.
The statue spoke to you?
Yes, when I touched the statue, I felt some vigor. I've noticed that since I touched it, I seem to have gained the ability to identify certain magical artifacts. I was able to understand the properties of the mace that we found in the mansion without really ever seeing it before. It was the strangest thing. And then when we were fighting the dog, I was in danger, and I just seemed to will myself away, and I seemed to teleport. I haven't had these abilities before, and in my studies I've never seen another cleric utilize such powers, so I don't know, but it was a goddess of joy. She beseeched me to help her. I noticed another one of her statues yesterday, and she spoke to me again. Wanted me to... I saw a vision. There seemed to be some sort of I couldn't really make the vision out too clearly. It seemed to be 3 spires with a gate and then some sort of a seal. I'm sorry for not mentioning this earlier. I just didn't really know how to really broach the subject. Yeah.
What did the goddess look like?
She was like holding like a basket, wasn't she, doing or something like that?
The statue was, yes.
The statue was. When I actually saw her, did she kind of present herself the same way?
She looks a lot like a statue. She's wearing a flowing gown.
Yeah.
She has soft features, long hair. She doesn't have the basket of bread.
Though the statues hold a basket of bread, in the vision I saw, her complexion was still that of stone, but she had a flowing dress and rather fair features. I mean, given that I'm a cleric, I have had encounter with gods before, but never anything so vivid. Never with so much clarity. It was perturbing. I didn't really know what to make of it at the time, so I just needed time to process it. But,
Would I be able to tell which god this is?
I mean, I'll tell you the god's name. Admittedly, I can't remember off the top of my head. Lilera, yeah.
The goddess of joy.
Yeah, I
Why
knew
not?
she was the goddess of joy. Sorry, what was that, Zach?
Do I know anything about this god?
I'm going to say roll history.
Yes, I do. I know everything about this god.
Seems so.
Yeah.
He knows
Okay.
this town, and he knows this god.
The goddess Lilera was generally celebrated by civilians. She was a god of festival. She was a god of that generally just brought joy wherever she went. She touched the lives to help give fertility. There used to be festivals during the summer to honor her centuries ago. But eventually, it seems that prayers to her began to go unanswered, around about 3 to 4 centuries ago specifically. And when that happened, people eventually started to distance themselves from her. As it stands right now, she's generally a forgotten god. Her only real thing to show she still exists are the statues that used to stand to her.
I
You don't
relay.
need to repeat all that.
Yeah, I relay most of that to Nalgrax. But I
Yeah.
put more emphasis on the God stop answering prayers sort of thing.
Yes.
Like there's a bit of enemy.
No one knows why it happened.
Yes, she did mention that she was forgotten, and what was curious is that she was asking to be released. When I had my vision, there seemed to be some sort of seal binding her to a location, and when I asked where she was, she simply just said that she was to the northwest. I don't really know what else to make of this, but the main reason that I'm mentioning this to you now is that I noticed another statue to the side of Elaleris, the god of peace that the cults of Aldef worship.
I would say that given you got the nat 20 on the previous one, you know that she was the sister to the god of peace.
I mean, I'll actually say, but I don't know of a relationship between the two.
Yes, they were sisters, I believe.
That is interesting. And Nagrax suddenly looks kind of, not worried, but yeah, that he was a little bit nervous of the request after kind of realizing that.
Siblings squabble all the time. Maybe it was a family matter. Why she stopped answering prayers.
I frankly don't really know what to make of this, but when the time comes, I probably have no right to ask this, but will you aid me in trying to find out more about this problem? I can't in good conscience let an innocent being suffer, but I don't want to act alone and in haste. I feel that I will need your help.
I'll do this for you, my friend, but just know I hold no love for the gods.
I appreciate that, Flint. I appreciate your support. I kind of look to Finian and Simeon to see what they've got to say.
I do not hold favour with the gods. I do not put much stock in them either. But I will stand with you, my friend. We're comrades in arms.
And finally I look to Finian.
I don't really know much about the gods. We never really pray to them. My family believes in an afterlife, but they believe it's something that they can touch even now. They don't really believe in a singular being, just a circle of life. But I'd like to help you if I can. I've never known synagogue, so it'd be nice to.
Nigrak smiles softly and just says, "Thank you. It really, yes, I really appreciate the sentiments." And
we could try going to a library when we get back to see if there's anything about the spires.
I made a note of the landmark. I was perhaps going to ask some men of faith in the town of Kron to see whether there's anything noteworthy to the northwest that may be of relevance to this god.
Finian will nod.
Sounds like a plan.
But Nigrax regains his composure a little bit. We should probably see what the situation is in town. I wouldn't want us to make an unnecessary diversion on my account. We should probably just concentrate on getting back to Kron, first of all.
I wonder if that reward Filian promised has arrived yet.